I want to talk to you about something today that I don't usually talk about, but I'm going to assert that it's under the umbrella of conversation topics because it's something that supports you to build a career that you love. And the idea is becoming financially free. And that's around creating a passive income through real estate. Something I would have loved to have learned much earlier, and something that I think is a vehicle for women that many women don't necessarily think of as a vehicle earlier in their careers. So part of my intention is to share some of the things I learned later with women so that they can get started earlier and have more of a runway and get going. At the end of this video, I'm going to leave you with 3 things that you can do right now to put yourself on a path of financial freedom so that you can do whatever you want in your career that you feel excited about, that brings you joy, and where you make a difference that you want to make. For the best strategies to continue to take your career forward, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you can be advised when I post new content. I'm Christina Delasanti-Miller of Full Potential Realized, and I'm a career transition coach. I've helped hundreds of women to take their career to the next level, and I'm very interested in the idea of how do you future-proof your career so that you can continue to have fun, to do what you love, and to earn the kind of money that has you feeling abundant. Before we get into the 3 tips about passive income and becoming financially free, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you think of passive income as a side hustle or as a complement to your corporate job or your entrepreneurial role. Please share in the comments so we can see what's going on with you. As a young woman, I had friends that were buying real estate, and I was thinking, I don't want to do that before I get married. I know, it's the patriarchy. It's how we get socialized. I don't know where I got that message. Or maybe I was just afraid to do it, or I didn't feel empowered to do it. Fast forward many years, my friend, who you've heard about before, who takes me to seminars with her, took me to this $1 Million Mind seminar where they talk to us about you have to get ready for your retirement and you have to have passive income if you want to really live a fun life when you're older and have enough resources to do whatever you want. So I got myself a coach, and I was like, okay, you're going to help me to learn how to do real estate, right? And she was like, no, you're going to teach yourself how to do it. The coach said to me, okay, by the end of these 3 months, you're going to have purchased a property. That was a 3-month coaching package. And I was like, I don't know anything about it. And she was like, oh, that's okay, you'll figure it out. So my first tip is commit to having some passive income, and do that by putting a 10% financial freedom account together. 10% of all your income goes in the financial freedom account before you even start doing anything else, right after taxes. And put it somewhere where you can't get easy access to it. Where you get your real estate down payment from is this 10% financial freedom bucket. The idea of having passive income and financial freedom is you buy assets that give you income such that the income that's thrown off by these assets pay for your expenses. So then you can use your time doing whatever you want. Second tip is listen to the BiggerPockets podcast. So let's say you know nothing about real estate. You're going to love it. They talk about first-time real estate investments and how to understand what you need to understand. And they have a great website where you can evaluate deals. You put in the numbers and you can see if it's a good deal or not, which is hugely valuable. I listened to this for a year as I was walking to work, and as I was walking back from work to the bus. I had a 45-minute walk, and so every day for a year I listened to it, and at the end I bought an apartment. Yes, even me, who as a young woman was like, I can't do that. Yeah, and it's not that big a deal, and especially if you've been saving for a while. And once you get one rolling, you can use one to buy the next one. You start to build equity, and somebody else is paying down the whole mortgage, and you will own the place at the end, which you can then sell to pay for a child's education or to pay for your retirement. But all the while, then you're getting rent. Maybe you're not getting a lot of rent, but once you start to get a bunch of them, it starts to add up, and that income can eventually be enough to cover your living expenses. BiggerPockets podcast, just to start listening to it, to start getting your head around what does it take to invest, what are the mistakes that people make, what do you need to know, what are the different strategies. There's tons of different ways you can do it. And you don't necessarily have to bring the money to the deal. It could be that you learn how to find the deals. It could be that you could be the one who brings the money, or it could be that you're the one who pulls it all together and understands the different ways to set up the deal. And why is this important? Because I think people now are in this space where we're in this crazy time and it's like the world is upside down. But this happens cyclically, right? When I was graduating 1987, market crash. 2001, 9/11, markets were crazy. 2008, financial craziness, markets were crazy. And now markets are crazy, right? So every certain period of years, there's a time like this. And I think the more we move into the gig economy, it's like careers go in fits and starts. So having these other assets to support you give you a sense of stability even when times are crazy. Third tip is to find your teammates who are interested in this and are going to learn with you and could possibly be business partners. So one example of something that you can do that's low risk to get started once you've saved up a little bit in your financial freedom account is syndication, which usually you're bringing people together for a really big purchase, like a giant apartment building, and everybody owns a little piece. But if you learn to do syndication with a small apartment, like a 2-door apartment, and everybody puts in a little bit, then it's a low risk and you learn to do it and you have a team that you're spreading the risk across. It's not just you. So then you get the hang of it and you can get bigger and bigger assets, but you don't have the same risk where you're learning it at the same time as putting a lot of money out there. So one example you can do if you're still early in your career is this idea of house hacking, which if you are living in a house that is a multifamily and you rent out the rest of it, you can get a loan, an FHA loan for 3%. Instead of having to put down 20%, you can just put down 3%. And then the people who live in the other apartments in the multifamily home pay the mortgage. So you can essentially live there for free. When you're first starting out, you can save the 3% depending on where you live. And you're probably living with roommates anyway. So that's a great way for young people to get their first investment going. So I just want to get you thinking about this topic because, again, I would have loved if I started to do this earlier, and I think it creates possibilities and it creates freedom, and so that's why I want to put it on your radar screen. Creating a passive income stream is one way of positioning yourself for success. If you'd like more information about how to position yourself as high potential, high performing, and promotable, check out my one-page cheat sheet checklist at fullpotentialrealized.com/positioning. For additional strategies to make sure that you're getting the most out of the energy that you invest in your career, check out these next videos on taking your career to the next level. Please give this video a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, share it with your friends, and give it a comment. Thanks. I look forward to seeing you next time.